Alrighty, everyone. Matt back here with another forecast for you guys. Appreciate y'all for watching this. I do want to make something note, guys. On the live stream yesterday, I did say we were going to be over on YT starting today, but we do have a pretty significant event today, and I'm trying to reach as many people as possible as far as getting the weather out to you guys. So we are going to be live today one last time on TikTok. We'll be posting videos, like I said, every day on here and on YT. But if you guys do want future live streams after today going forward, they will be on the other platform on YT. So make sure y'all are subbed over there. The link is in my bio for that. But other than that, we will be live streaming today here on TikTok. That will be where we're at. We'll probably be starting live stream between 12 and noon this afternoon. That's kind of my time frame with this. We're still waiting to see. We still could see an upgrade with the risk zone potentially today. I do think that's still, up in the air with the damaging wind threat that we're going to have today. We are talking about a derecho that is going to be possible today for Iowa, Illinois, southern Wisconsin, Indiana, and southwestern Michigan, and possibly even down into central Illinois and Indiana later on tonight. Today does look to be a pretty big day as far as significant wind goes. We could see wind gusts over 75, maybe 90 miles an hour in some areas today. We're going to have QLCS tornadoes embedded within those lines that do come through. There was two scenarios this morning as far as potentially having two different lines that come through, but it looks to be that we're probably going to have one main line, maybe something else potentially later on this afternoon. We'll just kind of see what happens with today. But I will see you guys here on TikTok for the live stream today at noon and 1. But we're going to go ahead and dive into this video here and talk about what's going to be happening. You guys can see on the screen today, this is a huge risk zone. We've got 3 slight risks as of now. Now, I am making this video before the 11:30 advisory this morning, so there could be a change. There probably will be a change, maybe an upgrade, maybe a downgrade. I don't know what's going to happen as far as the next update. So be mindful as I post this. There'll probably be a different outlook by the time we get on stream this afternoon. If that does change, I'll probably comment in the videos and say, hey, it was upgraded or something like that. But we do have a level 3 risk, enhanced risk there from Cedar Rapids all the way through Chicago into Fort Wayne, Bloomington. If you're in that orange enhanced risk here, you need to be mindful. A derecho is definitely going to be possible today. We are going to be looking at wind gusts over 75 miles an hour, more than likely with this scenario today. Outside of that, there in that yellow slight risk area, we saw a couple tornado warnings last night. We had a tornado warning in Chicago metro area last night. It did not produce a tornado from what I saw of. But just kind of be mindful today if you're in Chicago, Davenport, Cedar Rapids, Bloomington, Fort Wayne area. It looks to be like it's going to be a rough day and a rough night tonight as far as that damaging wind bend goes. If you guys don't know what a derecho is, it's basically one linear line of storms or one Boeing line segment that produces QLCS tornadoes, but it produces winds over 65 miles an hour most of the time, and it's consistent over a good, 300 to 400 mile range most of the time. So just be mindful of that today. In that marginal risk zone, that's a huge marginal risk zone today that goes from Colorado, Wyoming, all the way to the northeast. We also have 2 slight risk areas, one over here near parts of New York. We got Buffalo in this. We got parts of PA in this. This is going to be wind and hail, maybe an isolated tornado today. And then over here into the Rockies, Nebraska, South Dakota, into Kansas here, and into parts of Colorado and eastern Wyoming, we've got another slight risk, but this is going to be for wind and hail, maybe a brief isolated tornado if something does happen. And then we do have yesterday, we actually had a couple tornado warnings near Tucson, Arizona last night while we were on stream. And this did have also an 80 mile an hour severe thunderstorm warning. So monsoon season down here. Don't underestimate that marginal risk down there, guys, in Tucson, because after what we saw last night in a marginal, it can produce monsoon, wind gusts can produce tornado potential, land spouts, all that jazz. So we'll be watching that for you guys later on tonight as well. But the main threat is going to be, and I did say at the beginning of this video, there could be a potential upgrade. Some of the models have maybe a small moderate risk, which would be like a 45% hatch wind risk, maybe an upgraded tornado risk. So we'll have to see what the update does here in about 45 minutes. But I'm going ahead and get this video out to you guys now. That way y'all have this in advance. So be mindful, like I said, changes will be potentially coming with this update here. But the timing of this, guys, like I said, it does start right around 1 to 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. It could be as late as 4 p.m., I think, before initiation really gets going there in Iowa. But we'll go ahead and talk about what this is going to look like here on the radar. And as far as the future cast goes, like I said, we're going to have 2 different modes. We do have a leftover remnant line that is going through Minnesota right now. That is working its way off to the east there into Wisconsin. That shouldn't be much of an issue, I think, when it comes to the initiation for storms this afternoon, because the atmosphere is pretty prime for this event today. So just be mindful up there in Minnesota, Wisconsin. You'll see those rain showers continuing to work their way east. If you go to about 1 to 2 o'clock this afternoon, you can see what's left over from that line. Try to re-intensify here. And once we get to that magic hour, I think between 4 and 6 p.m. this afternoon, we'll start to see a flare-up of supercell thunderstorms. We could have discrete mode really quickly over Des Moines, Iowa City here, Cedar Rapids. That discrete mode could present a couple tornadoes potentially. I wouldn't even rule out a strong tornado with the southwesterly winds that we're going to have with this system. But then this grows upscale pretty quickly into a linear line. And you can see by 8 o'clock tonight, if you're in Chicago, Kenosha, the same exact area as last night, guys, that got hit with straight line winds and had a lot of power outages last night. You can see that Boeing line segment, and this is what classifies that derecho potential. And derecho, like I said, is a linear line of storms that extends a certain mileage, and then it covers over a certain mileage, and then you have a certain amount of wind gusts with that as well. So this definitely does look derecho possible, and I would not rule that out being a potential possibility. We've got a lot of areas that are going to be impacted right here around 9 o'clock tonight. You can see the worst of this coming into Chicago potentially. Chicago, South Bend, you guys have got to be weather aware once again today. We will probably have tornado warnings. We'll probably have severe thunderstorm warnings producing 75 plus mile an hour winds. And then this works its way past 10, 11 o'clock. It gets into Michigan, Grand Rapids, down into Lansing, Kalamazoo, South Bend, Logansport, all the way down here to Bloomington, Urbana. So for anybody out there that is in these areas tonight, be weather aware, have alerts on your phone if you do in fact decide to go to bed. And then this does work after midnight. It does start to get closer and closer to Indianapolis. I think the worst of this, as far as the major wind event for this will be between like 4 p.m. this afternoon, I think, and about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning if that happens. And we will be live, like I said, all day on TikTok today, talking to you guys and getting you guys prepared for this later on. But the leftover remnants for this, as we go through tomorrow, we do have another risk zone for tomorrow, and I will pull that up so you guys can see this. We do have a marginal and 2 slight risk tomorrow as well. Slight risk over here with the leftover remnants of this storm. This low will be pushing up here into parts of the Northeast. That slight risk goes into Rochester. You've got Albany, Scranton, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. You guys are in that as well. We'll be covering that potentially for you guys tomorrow if we need to be. And then we have another slight risk over here in the Rockies, Colorado. You guys are used to this during the summertime. Daytime heating, wind and hail event over there. We'll talk more about that here in just a second. But the leftover remnants tomorrow morning do make it into southern Indiana. And I think by the time you're waking up tomorrow morning down here into Kentucky, southern Indiana, Illinois, this will probably just be a lot of rain, some thunder, and some lightning, maybe some wind gusts potentially. We'll have to see how this unfolds tonight. But this does quickly dissipate right over the Kentucky-Ohio River line. And then we get some daytime heating event and storms. We'll see a pretty big risk zone, like I said, for tomorrow. Wind and hail could be a possibility, maybe a brief spin-up tornado in some of these areas tomorrow over in the Rockies. But you can see, a cluster of storms that tries to develop over the St. Louis area tomorrow night. This would work its way into parts of Kentucky and Evansville, Indiana, Owensboro, southern Indiana here, early into the morning hours or overnight hours of your, this would be Wednesday. Yes, it would be Wednesday morning. So be mindful of this. This is something I'm going to watch here for our backyard. But widespread scattered severe thunderstorms will be definitely likely tomorrow night, and into the overnight hours of Wednesday morning. So be mindful, guys. There's a lot of rain to come over these areas. Rainfall totals could also add up. Flash flooding could be a potential. If you get a flash flood warning, please take it seriously as far as that goes. Another thing I do want to show you guys is going to be those tornado parameters for today. And we actually are going to have some pretty decent tornado parameters up here into Illinois and into eastern Iowa. And that will be because of the fact that we have a strong southwesterly flow. And when that happens, you can get, like I said, discrete storms. So any storm that is in this area, like that we had last night, Rockford, Dixon, DeKalb, DeKalb, Chicago area, you guys got to be mindful today. Yes, these are going to be rain-wrapped embedded tornadoes potentially if this mode is linear. In fact, by the time we get to 7 and 8 o'clock, but those tornado parameters max out right over Chicago tonight around 9 p.m. So this is something that is on my radar that's concerning. This is something we're going to be very mindful of. And as we go into Michigan and into parts of northern Indiana and Ohio overnight tonight, this is something that we're going to have to watch very, very carefully. And then as we go through tomorrow, we'll have a re-intensification of some storms potentially, and we could see maybe some more spin-up tornadoes just kind of scattered, isolated. We'll see what SPC does with their updates later on today as far as that goes. The timing of everything, we'll talk more about that on the live stream today, guys. We'll talk more about, everything that'll be happening. That's why I'm going to get on early today. That way I can get you guys updated and covered with everything. And then that is the risk zone. And then we have one more risk zone for your day 3, and that is going to be for your Wednesday. Marginal risk over here in the Northeast, and a marginal risk here into the Rocky Mountains and into parts of the Western Central Plains. Now, we will go ahead and go talk about the overall pattern that we are going to be seeing here over the next couple of days, and it's going to get very, very, what's the word, interesting as far as I say. And I think we're going to see a pretty big decline in the severe weather setup. And you guys can see on the screen here, this is that 500 millibar wind models here. This basically explains the mid-level jet in the atmosphere. Like, I think this is about a couple miles up, a couple 100 miles up, something like that. Not 100 miles, but a couple miles up in the atmosphere. But this is going to be our storm system right here that's bringing that severe weather today into tomorrow and maybe even into Wednesday across the Northeast. This is going to swoop down over the Great Lakes into parts of the Midwest and then work its way back up Northeast. Dominant high pressure still continuing to bring excessive heat over here into the West Pacific. You guys have just been absolutely pummeled again and again and again with that heat over there. It is July, so it is normal, but just continuing to see 100-degree temperatures over there in California and into parts of the West Pacific over there is very concerning as far as that goes. As we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, you can see that dip in the jet stream. That low does exit the United States there, and then we do set up on Thursday, guys, a cool down. Once that front comes through, most of the time we get cooldowns behind it. This is going to be a pretty drastic cooldown for much of the United States, the eastern half of the United States here, getting a maybe 10 to 15 degree temperature drop cooldown here. So that's going to be something that's going to be on my radar as far as getting out and maybe getting some stuff done around the yard. Other people as well might be doing that. It's hard to get out and mow your grass when it's 95 degrees, so the dew points or humidity levels pushing, all the way up into the 70s and 80s, and then you've got your heat index is pushing 105 and higher. So it does make it hard. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. We will continue to see a dominant high pressure system sitting here over the West Pacific as well into the desert mountains over there. And then as we go through the weekend, it still looks to be pretty chill. There might be a couple days of organized severe weather, maybe over in the Northeast with another low that potentially comes through, a positive tilted trough there. But other than that, we'll see general thunderstorms, daytime heating thunderstorms. I've talked about this a lot. Even though there's not going to be these big severe weather events, be mindful if you get a pop-up thunderstorm, lightning, have a way to get inside. If you do have lightning in your area, be mindful that if you're at the pool, stuff like that. We're kind of getting close to that go back to school season, so I think a lot of pools will be open for the next couple of weeks, and then you'll have once we get into August, schools will start to go back in session as well. I know I start school August 16th, or August 19th, so it'll be a fun time coming up here soon. Other than that, guys, you can see just a general pattern here. Very, very quiet until we get to about that last week of July. And then as we get into that last week of July, it looks to be things kind of get back up and going again here. So we'll see what happens going forward in the future cast here. I do want to let you guys go at this point. That way I can talk to you guys more on the live stream today on what happens. Make sure y'all do come in. We're going to set that live stream for between 12 this afternoon and 1 o'clock this afternoon. So here really within the next 2 hours, we'll be on live stream, getting you guys prepped and ready to go for what's going to happen today. Like I said, there will be probably some updated changes in the next outlook here in the next few minutes. I wanted to get this video out to you guys as quick as possible so you guys are weather aware and get ready for this. But other than that, guys, be weather aware, be safe, and I'll see you guys on the live stream here later.